Talking to people can be exciting, but equally as daunting. There's some people that we really resonate with. There's others that, it's just really hard to hold that conversation, which is exactly why in this week's episode of MasterTalk, I'm going to teach you how to carry a conversation so you don't have to. So let's get into it. Number one, great conversations always start with great people. Look, at the end of the day, there's no magic formula here. The best way to carry a conversation with someone is making the conversation so exciting that you don't feel like you're pulling in the weight. The same analogy is true with the people that we speak to. If we love talking to the people that we do, we ask the same questions, we talk about the same things, we have the same passions, it's a lot easier to continue that conversation in a way that's fulfilling and that makes us happy. Here's an easy way of explaining this. Let's say you love collecting pens. For some reason, it's this odd passion that you have that your friends and family just don't get. So instead of not talking about pens at all, I would recommend you find some local pen collectors in your area. People that share that same odd obsession that you do about pens and nerd out over it. That's the magic of conversation. It's about figuring out, what are you excited to talk about? What are the questions that you want to answer? And find the groups of people that want to have those conversations with you. That's the first step to carrying conversations that matter. Number two, ask questions that you're personally excited about to answer. The goal of conversations is different for all of us. For me, it's to have deep philosophical questions about life to other people and to nerd out over our passions. I just love people who are working on important things and things that they're personally excited about. So I'm not the type of person who goes up to people and asks them about the weather. So that's why whenever I enter conversations, I'm using my questions as a filtering system to figure out who are the people that are meant for me and who are the people who aren't. So if I go up to someone and I go, what are you passionate about? What are you excited about? And they answer with, not really doing much, kind of just going about my day, it's not really exciting for me. Versus another question or conversation where I go, hey, what are you excited about? And they're saying, well, I'm building this big tuba. And I go, why are you building this tuba? And I get really excited about those types of people. So the key is really figuring out a list of questions that you can use as a filtering system to see who are your people and who aren't. And if you do that, I think you'll find some really cool people to talk to. Finally, number three, a great talk always stems from the curiosity in the other person's perspective. At the end of the day, if you're not interested and really dive into the other person's point of view about what they think and who they are, it's because you're probably talking to the wrong person. There's obviously some of us who just like to talk about ourselves all the time, but for those people, I have a different piece of advice. But let's focus on most of us. That's why it's so important to select the right individuals, because that way it forces us, it encourages us rather, to ask the right questions at the right moments of time. Here's another way of explaining this. My definition of listening is asking more questions rather than giving statements. So if I feel that I'm just giving statements all the time, and I'm not diving enough into the other person's perspective and who they are, there's something I need to look back at in how I'm showing up in that conversation. But if I'm asking more questions than giving statements about what I actually think, then the conversation gets really interesting because I know that person is someone I really want to talk to and someone I really want to hear from. So that's always a good check. If you feel you're just giving your statements all the time, you're not asking enough questions, it probably means you're talking to the wrong person. But if you're asking a lot of questions, hey, Bill, what did you do? Why do you believe that? And your interest is really acute, you're talking to the right person, and you should probably carry that conversation for years to come. At the end of the day, you're not going to click with everyone, and that's okay. All you need to do is figure out what are some of the best conversations I've had in my life, and what is it about those conversations that got me excited, that got me interested, that got me passionate. If you attempt to replicate those conversations across the rest of your life, I think you'll have a pretty good life to talk about. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. If you know one person that's struggling to carry a conversation, be sure to send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to mastering their talk. And stop having a conversation with them. See you next time.